And welcome back to Capitol Tonight. Well, all this week we've been catching up with the new faces who will be joining us in the state Senate here in Albany come in January. Tonight, we're joined by the newest member of the Long Island delegation. Republican Lee Zeldin soundly defeated incumbent Democrat Brian Foley last Tuesday, getting roughly 58% of the vote. And Lee Zeldin is joining us tonight from Long Island. Thanks very much for your time, Senator-elect.
Thank you, Liz.
So this is actually not the first time that you have run for office. The last time I think you ran for Congress, if I'm not mistaken. And this time, though, you won pretty soundly.
Yeah, you know, it was a different year, and we had the right message. We worked really hard to get that message out, and it paid off on election night.
You know what, I was surprised because I had seen some footage of a rally, I think, that happened not so far away from the election, and Carl Palladino was there, and you were very pro-Palladino, actually. You spoke very in favor of him while a lot of other Republicans were running away.
Well, you know, I actually... I wasn't, you know, that involved with the governor's race. I mean, the one point that I was hitting home as much as possible was I wasn't running to be fiercely loyal to the next governor. I was running to be fiercely loyal to the residents of Islip and Brookhaven. So regardless of who was going to win the election last Tuesday, my loyalty wasn't to that person, it's to my constituents.
But you nevertheless didn't separate yourself from him. I mean, there were people who ran statewide races, for example, Dan Donovan and Harry Wilson, who did everything they could to avoid being seen with him, and you didn't, I mean, you weren't out there screaming from the rooftops about it, but you didn't shy away from it. Do you think that might have helped you? Because the Tea Party movement out in Long Island is, you know, it's pretty robust.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, I take pride in, I'm a Republican. I consider myself to be an independent Republican. And there were times where I was asked questions about Carl Palladino and Andrew Cuomo. And I was critical of both candidates. I was complimentary of both candidates. I wasn't running to gain their support or to try to encourage them. We were running our own campaign. We had a number of supporters that were supporting Carl Palladino. But I'll tell you, with the margin that Andrew Cuomo won the 3rd Senate District, there were a number of Andrew Cuomo supporters that supported my candidacy. So regardless of who out there was supporting either of the candidates, you know, I was very grateful that people were willing to cross party lines to support me.
So now the Senate hangs in balance. The control of the chamber hangs in balance. The Republicans are feeling pretty good that they might actually have managed to take control of the chamber back. If, in fact, they do that, will you be supporting Dean Skelos for leader?
I will.
You will.
And I sure hope that we have a balance of power in Albany come January. We've seen what one-party rule can do to our state over the course of the last 2 years. One of the main reasons why we won our race was the dysfunction in Albany. So we need a political balance. We need a geographic balance. And so hopefully the Republicans gain the majority, and we have that come January. We have that balance come January.
You know, if they do manage to regain the majority, it's probably not going to be by very much. It's either going to be 32-30, which is what it is now for the Democrats, or if everything really, they run the table and it works out quite well, 33-30, which would be they take the Oppenheimer seat. Regardless, it's going to be a pretty slim majority. One of the things that the Republicans have been doing is voting in a block, no, on most things. Do you see yourself reaching across the aisle to be able to be maybe the casting vote, a vote that breaks a tie and helps push along bills for the Democrats?
Well, I think it's important that the principle of if there is a good idea, regardless of whether it's proposed by a Republican or a Democrat, it should be embraced. If there is a bad idea, regardless of whether it's put forth by a Republican or Democrat, it should be rejected. And going forward, looking at this upcoming session, regardless of whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats pushing the best idea to balance the budget, I'm on board. I'm on board with supporting the best plan, and at whatever cost. And I'm rooting for our next governor. I hope Andrew Cuomo does a great job. I look forward to working with him. And hopefully we can work in a bipartisan fashion to see this balanced budget, the budget balanced, and that we have the right structural changes so that we're not back in this same position come next year and the year after. We need long-term changes as well.
What is your main focus? I know, for example, the MTA payroll tax was a really big deal out in Long Island and also in the suburbs north of New York City. And repealing it is something, for example, that we've heard from Democrats who are in the suburbs. I would assume that you feel the same.
It should have never been passed in the first place. I support fully repealing the MTA tax. It's an illegal tax. There are numerous cases right now within the court system that hopefully will be successful. The MTA needs to start planning on how they're going to balance their books without the MTA payroll tax, and hopefully the legislature can do the right thing and fully repeal it as quickly as possible.
Aside from that, what would you say is the #1 goal? Obviously the budget, because the state has a fiscal crisis, and the MTA tax. For you, if you could get one bill passed, and of course as a freshman it could be a little bit tricky, but your first bill, what would you hope that it would be?
Well, honestly, it would be the repeal of the MTA tax. If there was a second bill, we need property tax relief. We lost our star rebate checks. We need to figure out a way to reduce the property tax burden, which is causing a lot of New Yorkers, and especially my new constituents, to leave Long Island, leave New York State. Many people are migrating down to the Carolinas and Florida just because they can't afford to live in New York. So that would be a second piece. And I'd tell you a third, just to throw it out there, would be this new fishing licensing fee. For saltwater fishing, you need to get a license and pay a fee, and that's wrong as well. So there's a lot that I would look to do. I don't address any problem without offering up solutions of how to make up for lost revenue. So with each of the three issues, I've proposed ways to make up for it. But I'm one of 62 new state senators, and hopefully we can build enough support to get the right reforms passed. And I sure hope it's a productive session, because I know a lot of senators are coming in, whether they just got elected or they're getting reelected. They're coming in and they all want to do a good job, but we have to work together to move Albany forward and move New York State forward. Well,
as soon as we get this balance of power thing figured out, we'll be, I'm sure, a lot closer to moving forward. In the meantime, I want to thank you very much. You're no stranger to Albany. You worked for Senator Laval for a while, and you're almost the youngest guy, but not quite, because David Carlucci has a year on you. But thank you for joining us, Lee Zeldin, Senator-elect.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you.